the boomers are coming, the boomers are coming. Vanguard's idiotic decision to not allow their own customers to buy the ETF, even though they're allowed to buy the futures ETF and MicroStrategy and the miners. I mean, mind blows at the idiocy of that. Bitcoin proxy, they've never said a word. This is 100% political. This is 100% negotiated. Okay, you firms, because Merrill's in here too, Bank of America, they are all in cahoots. And look, they can keep trying to stop this from happening, but it's gonna happen. They think this is on brand. They're going to lose an entire generation of investors.
Once again, welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we explore the exciting field of finance under the guidance of none other than the imaginative and outspoken Mark Yusko. Prepare for a thrilling start to our conversation as Mark makes a bold declaration that clarifies the calculated actions taken by key companies in the financial industry, such as Vanguard. We watch the drama unfold as mining firms and MicroStrategy get involved in a Bitcoin discussion, and the suspense intensifies with the disclosure of intriguing choices concerning the Bitcoin ETF. However, that is not the end of it. Refusing to back down from a struggle, Mark Yusko makes a suggestion about a bigger picture. He makes the suggestion that organizations such as Bank of America and Merrill Lynch, among others, may be quietly tugging the strings in the background. This is a revelation that goes beyond ETFs to depict a whole generation of investors caught in financial power struggles, as Mark Yusko takes center stage and shares his own viewpoint on the complex dance between institutions, controversies, and the always changing landscape of investing. Get ready to solve the riddles of the financial world. Let's go deeper into the observations and disclosures made by none other than Mark Yusko.
We never asked for your endorsement nor your approval. The CEO of Bitcoin didn't show up to, sign in. And I mean, the arrogance of that statement, the idiocy of that statement. Did the SEC chairman put out a statement of any kind? Forget one as pointed and baseless and ridiculous as the one he put out on the Bitcoin ETP. Did he ever put out any warning on the cannabis ETFs before they lost 80, 90+% of their money? Did he ever once make any comment of any kind, anywhere, on the triple inverse levered ETNs and ETPs that have lost 99.99999%? I mean, they literally lose money every single day. There's no way they could ever make money. One comment of any kind, a tweet, a comment to his wife. I mean, not one comment. And yet, how many hundreds, literally hundreds of comments did the guy make on this? Saying things that are untrue is bad policy, right? Saying that the SEC got it wrong on the law is incorrect. The law is very clear that they got it right on the law, that they could not obfuscate without cause and be prejudiced against a person trying to create a product for the public. So the law is very clear. And look, I'm not a lawyer, but the law was decided, and there is case law and precedent that says the SEC had to do this if they didn't have a good reason not to. So she's wrong on that. And saying they were wrong on policy, it's not a policy-making entity. You're a policy-making entity, okay? You're part of one. It's not you alone, but the SEC doesn't make policy.
Mark Yusko takes issue with the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and the CEO of Bitcoin in an impassioned and critical remark. He is frustrated by what he sees as their foolishness and arrogance. Yusko starts out by dismissing the idea of looking for support or permission. He emphasizes that the CEO of Bitcoin did not show up to a meeting in order to sign in, calling the CEO's comments arrogant. The SEC chairman comes next, and he criticizes the chairman's remarks on the Bitcoin ETF by drawing a comparison between the severe caution on Bitcoin ETFs and the absence of any remarks or cautions on other investment products like cannabis ETFs or very dangerous triple inverse leveraged ETNs and ETPs. Yusko challenges the chairman's use of a double standard. He continues by contesting the chairman's claims, calling them false, and stating that the SEC made a legally solid conclusion. Yusko contends that the law is clear and highlights that the SEC's approach was consistent with case law and established legal standards. He explains that the SEC is a component of a wider policymaking system and disputes the chairman's allegations that it has made mistakes in policymaking. Mark Yusko's analysis is complex, casting doubt on the SEC chairman's regulatory policies as well as the conduct of the CEO of Bitcoin. His main points of contention are the apparent contradictions, the absence of appropriate reactions, and what he sees as false information or misconceptions regarding the laws and regulations that control the SEC's operations. Let's hear what Mark Yusko will say now.
What bothers me, right? Because I am a boomer. I am one of the gerontocracy that this is what this is, right? This is gerontocracy gone bad, right? It's hard for me to say these words out loud, but as you age, your brain loses plasticity. You get stubborn and set in your ways. You get cronyist, right? Crony is a term that comes from a physical appearance and action of older people. A crone is a physical descriptor. So this, I don't like it. And I look at what's happening, that you have these, and some of them in their 60s, but mostly 70s and 80s, septa and octogenarians, basically horse trading with one another to try to maximize their stack and keep all you other people in the dark and feed them like mushrooms. And it makes me angry, right? Makes me angry because I don't believe I'm that. I don't believe just because I'm old, I have to be like that. And it's very frustrating. I mean, the kleptocracy that exists at the top of our political system and the rigging of the game for their benefit and against the average person, it's criminal. I mean, one, it's criminal, and two, it's just wrong. It's ethically and morally wrong. And so to be on the wrong side of ethics and morals, and yet to seem so righteous and sanctimonious in your tweets, it literally makes me retch. Yeah, this is the wrong number to talk about, though. So much of this is people like Ken Griffin getting richer. And, there's a massive business of scalping ETFs. And this didn't just start yesterday. This goes on every single day. There are firms like AQR and others. They have entire quant groups, and Millennium and a bunch of the big hedge funds, Renaissance, they do this all day. So there were a lot of people who were shorting Bitcoin and buying the ETF or shorting the ETFs and buying Bitcoin, or shorting BITO and buying, FBTC. And I mean, the amount of arbitrage that goes on, and part of it is because of the unique ways they trade, right? ETFs trade literally the last minute of the day, right? They don't actually trade all day. They actually do their buying and selling the last minute of the day. And so there's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. The other thing that people aren't paying attention to is, again, those flows have nothing to do with the money that came in. Scott Melker's show yesterday live during the open with Hunter. I mean, Hunter's such a great guy, and we've been partners with them really since inception. And for him to be on the show with us live at 9:30 when things started, and you hear this big thing in the background, all those guys were cheering, because it's 6:30 out in California. And Scott was like, "For the love of Satoshi, will you please go be with your people and celebrate?" And it was cool. But Hunter's amazing. So I'm super psyched. But look, they had a very simple strategy. We're going to be the lowest fee ETF. And so they had to revise their fees down. What's crazy, here's some inside baseball. The original discussions about where people were going, and not like collusion and collab, but what people were hearing was that BlackRock thought they were going to start around 80. And BlackRock's first salvo into the war was 30. So somebody thought better of it and they got all the way down to 30. And then there were multiple revisions over the last couple days. And BlackRock got, I think, down to 25, I think.
In this interesting part, self-described boomer Mark Yusko explores the workings of a system he calls a gerontocracy gone bad, voicing his discomfort and displeasure as a member of the older generation. He begins by recognizing how hard it is to express these worries and thinking about how aging inevitably results in a decline in cognitive flexibility, which makes people more resistant to change and more obstinate. Mark introduces the term crony, which refers to the physical characteristics of elderly people to characterize a group of people he believes are involved in dubious activities. He describes elderly people who are in their septuagenarian and octogenarian years as horse trading in order to maximize their riches, all the while keeping the general public in the dark and nourished like mushrooms. Mark is not just frustrated with age-related problems, he is also upset with what he perceives to be a kleptocracy in charge of the political system. He passionately argues that the system is rigged to benefit a small number of people, calling it unethical and illegal. He finds it revolting to compare this alleged violation to the pompous and self-righteous tones that are frequently heard in public declarations. Going on to talk about money, Mark mentions people like Ken Griffin to show how some people are gaining a lot of money by scalping exchange-traded funds. He sheds light on the widespread use of arbitrage in the financial sector, highlighting both its regular occurrence and the cunning moves made by large hedge funds. Mark delves into the details of ETF fee structures, offering valuable insights into the behind-the-scenes talks. He discloses early conversations that suggested a notably higher beginning charge for some ETFs. An essential turning point in this insider disclosure is BlackRock's ultimate choice to introduce their ETF at a reduced cost. Mark Yusko's remark provokes contemplation on the moral and ethical ramifications of the conduct of individuals in positions of power within this fervent and critical examination of social and financial processes. Remember to press the like button and subscribe to our channel as you interact with these insightful videos. With your help, we can keep providing you with information that shifts perspectives and promotes thoughtful conversation. We appreciate your participation in our community and invite you to stay tuned for more insightful videos. So don't forget to subscribe and like until next time. Happy investing.